everyone. So today is laundry day and Sunday, not being at home, so I'm wearing this. I am covered and I showered too, so my hair is like really all over the place and it just feels like it's just very naughty. So anyway, I just finished this book, Her Outlaw by Geralyn Dawson. And I have to say, I certainly loved this book. It was really, really good. I wasn't so sure at the beginning, like the first 3 to 5 chapters. I'm not sure what the number is, but it's between 3 to 5 chapters that I wasn't sure if I was going to like this book, and that's all covered and all that. But after getting past that, I loved this story. I loved the way it took us. I loved it. I loved it so dang much, and I'm sorry I've got a line in my face and it's annoying me a little bit. But yes, I was worried I wouldn't like this because I didn't like the second book, or like Kat's book, you know. But I love this book. I love it even more than Mari's book. I love it even more than Mary Beth's book. Mari's easier to say. Mary. I'm gonna call her Mary because it's Mary Beth, M-A-R-I, which basically if you change the I to a Y, it would be Mary, so Mary Beth. I don't know why I say Mari, I just want to say Mari, but anyway. Yeah, I love this book so much more than that one. It is so good. What else do I say about this book? Emma, I think the only reason why I might not have liked it so much is because the whole, like the chapters and the parts where Emma and Dare first meet in Kat's book, those little parts were like, I was unsure because there. But I think once we got past that part, past the part where you see you read in Kat's book, she sees a carriage rushing past her out of the stables, and then later she finds out her sister and Dare, or supposedly her sister and Dare, have left together to go on an adventure, basically. And then we don't hear of them ever again. And that's where the majority of Emma and Alice Dare's book picks up, where it really starts to get a lot better. Yeah. It's just good. It's really good. And Emma and Dare's progression as their characters, where they have to find a strong, vigilant, and true love, and getting over their fears, accomplishing their tasks, which basically is them working past their fears. Because that's really what the task is. As I found out, each woman has a fear like we read that each woman, the 3 daughters have a task to complete, but it's actually, they have to get past a fear, which is their task. And you need to read it to find out what their tasks are. I'm not gonna tell you because you read it in here, and it's like you read it in the previous 2, but they keep mentioning their fears, tasks. Sorry, my nose is dry and slightly itchy. But you read them in here, and they keep emphasizing about it and repeating it occasionally once they're all together, that this is the way that we defeat the curse of Clan McBride. And that whole story, like, oh my god, like we find about it in Mary's book, or I'm gonna say Mari because I want to say Mari. So anyway, in Mari's book, we get the prologue of just before Emma's first wedding, of them getting their necklaces and finding out that the McBride family has this curse on them from all the way back in time, and that's such. But we find out there's even more, we find out more about how this curse came about, and you know, we only find out one side of the curse, which is this woman named Ariel McRae. So the whole thing about with their necklaces and the curse of Clan McBride, we hear the story about Ariel, and so we find out more information about The Curse of Clan McBride, and about Ariel. And there are certain things about Ariel that you find out, and like, it is so shocking, because just, yeah, that it was just, like, I love books like this, with has this mystery about it, and you have to find out this backstory of, like, the stuff that's happening in the present right now. It's happening because of consequences that happened in the past, and to fix the stuff that happened in the past, to make a better future, they gotta figure that out in the present. I love that sort of stuff. I love that, like, mystery and finding clues and sleuthing and all of that sort of stuff. I love it, especially when it's in a romance novel. And in here, oh, there's so much sex. I love it. God damn it, I love this book. There's so much good sex in here. It's great. I don't know what time it is. I need to check the time. Okay, it's 6:42. It's just, oh my god, I love it. And I love Emma and Dare's personalities. Like, they're entirely perfect. And even with this thing that's going on with, like, this thing that is, like, if you write a profile about a character and there are certain quirks, characteristics, and things about them, the thing about Dare is that, let's just say, like, the thing I want to say is that he gets headaches. So he's, no, I don't want to say that. They're so good, is all I can really say, is that I love their characters together, and oh, they're good, they're perfect together. Just, oh, I love them. They were, like, the perfect, I know, like, they're not perfect, but, like, they're perfect with their flaws and their negative stuff and their positive stuff, like, all of that. They were just perfect, okay? Just perfect, again, with their positives and negatives about them, like their flaws and their positive traits that are about them, and like the stuff, oh my god. I already pretty much knew a lot about Emma's history and her, like with her parents, that we find out in, like, the first two books of, like, Trace and Jenny and Claire and Ty, because Trace and Ty are twin brothers. We know about that sort of back history with Emma. And then with Dare, you find out about his parents and his life before, we read in this book, and, like, the little bit we read about in Kat's book. I love it. I love this type of stuff. It gets me into the book so much. It's just like, I love the shock and, like, the reveal of, like, this stuff that, like, oh my god, you're related to them? Oh shit. And just, oh my god. And then, oh my god, there's really, really sad parts, because yesterday, like, I will say that Dare has something going on with him, and it involves headaches. I don't want to go too much into it just because you should really read it, but he had headaches, and they sometimes can get really, really bad. So there's a point that like, he's a big, stubborn, prideful, he has to be in control of everything. Well, it's a weird way of being in control of everything, because once he meets Emma, some things, like, he can't really control, because Emma just, like, gets into his skin and just makes him happy, and he's like, okay, I'll do whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want. But he doesn't want to talk about, like, his headache stuff, because he's too prideful. He doesn't want sympathy or pity or all that type of stuff. And there are people who, like, have certain things, like what Dare has. You don't really want that type. You think that people are gonna be, like, very sad and be like, pity on you, or, like, all that such. It takes him a long time before he tells the actual full truth to Emma, and even before the full truth, he tells her, like, a partial truth. And I'm reading this one part, and like yes, it's really sad with this, because it's very, very close partial truth. But then when he says the full on truth, and like there's this nearly like half the chapter is about this scene and what the emotions that they both Emma and Dare are feeling, and what they're talking about, and the situation that they're talking about. Holy crap, I was flooded with so much emotions about the possibility of like what actually happened with my mom, how she died. And then because it's a romance, it makes, like, it's not just that, but it makes me think of, like, you know, with my mom, but and not just my mom, but like the way like she died when I was young. And I have this problem that, first off, I know we all die, that much I know, but I'm terrified. I am terrified. I do not want people leaving in my life. Like, I know my grandma is gonna leave sometime a lot soon. She's got white hair. Yeah. And then, and my dad and my sister, oh my god, she has Down syndrome. She should have, back when they first were called like Mongols and all that such, back then, she would have died at like this age. But now she's gonna last till maybe about, she's 40? I don't know for 100% sure. I don't know like the death rate age of Down syndrome people, but they don't last. I know they don't last. They still don't last as long as like a normal person like me, but they last a lot longer than originally. But anyway, I am terrified because my sister, though she's not as talkative, most people don't fully understand her, but with my family, when she dies, this light is going to be extinguished. She is a big light. She makes us laugh. She makes us happy, even though she doesn't put forth a lot into the conversation or like the situation. Yeah. And then like, because I was with Manny this weekend, like it was Friday when I was reading that part, and so I was at his parents' house where I've explained that. So I was reading this part, and you know, Internet thinks, because it's so like death like, and it makes me think of my mom, and in turn it makes me think of my family around me, and especially Manny, because as I said, it's a romance. So you've got two people like literally in love who are having sex and she wants to be married to him and have his children and live till the ripe old age of like 85 or whatever, because it's not just like they can live to that age, but a really old age. And it really makes me think of it really makes me think of Manny, and like I always think about like there is a big possibility I'm gonna lose him, and like the type of work environment he's in, I could lose him from that, and like, you know, driving the huge thing, or you know, he could, you know, like cancer or a tumor or like a heart attack or a stroke. There's all these things that there's a possibility of having, and usually I don't get so emotional, but this scene, this big nice long scene, it just hit me, okay? Like, I was feeling the hard feels. My chest was starting to like tighten and tension, and it just constriction, and like, oh my god, I want like, and then something happened, and I don't want to get into it because, yeah, all that, but oh my god, I don't think I've ever, not with any of these definitely not with any of these videos I've been making. I don't even think, even the ones that I haven't made videos for, I have not had this intense feeling from a book that has made me think of the people I love in my own life. It's like, as I said, I'm terrified of losing people in my life, and not just because, you know, they've divorced or like, you know, like the boyfriend-girlfriend situation, like, left. For me, it's the death part, the death leaving, because it's not their choice that they, sorry, I've got Leap Year playing with the muted, but it's the death part that it's not their choice. Like, if they die of old age, yeah, like, they know they're gonna die, but it's like, the death part, yeah. So I was I wasn't doing it just then, but I was feeling it, and I knew I was going to at some point, and especially if I saw Manny, and just right in when it was starting to finish and starting to go into something like neutral and normal, my boyfriend comes up the stairs into his like private living room, like his own section of stuff. So he comes in, and that's when I started bawling. Oh, and it's just, oh my god, sorry. But, oh my god. And then, okay. Obviously, this is romance, and it's the last book in a series. Everything gets wrapped up, so everything gets very happy and lovely and all that such. So, yes. But we eventually wrap up the Clan McBride, and like that gets resolved, and I just love how everything is resolved, and that whole mystery aspect of it, of like the treasure hunting and reversing a curse, or something about the removal of a curse that's no longer on a family or a person, and it's like it's lifted and the curse is no more and all that such. It's so good. It's just, I love it. It's just good. I very heavily recommend Her Outlaw by Geralyn Dawson. It is, so good. I recommend it wholeheartedly. And the only, okay. I actually have no negative stuff about this book. There's nothing that I disliked about it. I didn't like feeling like that tight chest thing in the tightness in my chest and the bawling my eyes out, and then the incident that happened after, you know, when I was crying, and all of that all got resolved. No, actually, I did that whole thing Saturday. Yeah, I did it all Saturday, not Friday. I did it Saturday. So yes, as I was saying, I recommend this wholeheartedly. There's no negative thing. Now I know where my thing is. The only real negative thing about it is, like, I didn't want to feel the tightness in my chest. I didn't want to be bawling my eyes out. But if a book can make you do that, like, and also like music and a movie and like a musical or stuff like that, if it can make you feel like that deeply and that much, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Now, out of this entire series, the only ones I recommend is this trilogy, the Three Sisters. Hold on, I can actually read it from here. Her Bodyguard, Her Scoundrel, Her Outlaw, The Bad Luck Wedding Dress, and The Bad Luck Wedding Cake. Those are the only 5 I fully recommend, because they're the only ones that actually tie into each other. Yes, because you get a lot of Trace and Jenny in here, and the only times you get Ty and Claire are in Mari's book, definitely, like at the beginning and then at the end, and then interspersely in Kat's book. You don't really get in here. You get mentions of Ty and Claire, but not fully. But yes, the whole Clan McBride part, you know, Ty, Trace, Kat, Mari, and Emma, those 5. The other ones, the whole Ross clan, and like the Sizzle All Day, Simmer All Night, Sizzle All Day, The Bad Luck Wedding Cake. I think that's all. Yeah, I think those are the only 3 that I would not recommend. Yes. Those 3 I would not recommend, just because they don't actually tie into these ones. Yeah. I don't know why, but the only tie I see of all of that is the Bad Luck Wedding Cake, because no, the Bad Luck Wedding Night, because of the woman. She eventually has a business with Jenny and Claire, the Bad Luck Wedding dress, the dress and the cake makers. That's the only tie. And then, you know, the night woman, I can't remember her name. I also didn't very much like it. She marries to a Ross. His sister marries to someone. Excuse me. Back over, you know, in Texas. And then his sister marries someone else, but there's no real reason to read those three, because it doesn't have anything in here. Like the 5 books that I recommend, it doesn't have any tie to them, and I don't know why. It like, they get mentioned as the Ross cousins or the Ross's cousins, like that. There's no real tie. There's no real reason. All that. Yeah. And also, okay, well, there's one thing I will complain about, is the fact that we get, you know, the column from Wilhelmina Peters occasionally from these books about, you know, stuff about the McBride menaces and, you know, the McBrides and all that. So I remember telling you guys from the Bad Luck Wedding Night and about that column and her bodyguard, because there was mention of like the thing from the column. We never find out what happened at the end of Emma's first wedding, and the fact that one of the Ross daughters is kidnapped. So why have we gotten no information about, sorry, my laptop. I'm gonna do this. There we go. It's a little brighter. I have like no lights on right now except for my this screen here attached to my laptop and my TV going right now. I need a drink. Oh, so much talking. Anyway, that's really my only complaint, is like, there's I think it's in Kat's book or in Mari's book where it says Emma doesn't want to talk about what happened. So like, I figured we'd get it in this book, and like she talked about Casey and like him, like his death 3 months after their wedding. So, and like she talked a lot about that stuff. Sorry, stuff is shifting over here. I'm noticing. You know, I figured we'd get the information about the Ross daughter, you know, getting kidnapped and disappearing, because like we don't. There's no other books. Like, this is the last book. Unless it's part of a completely different series. I doubt that, because, you know, why would you have them appearing in one series and then having them also appear in a different series? I don't know, but that's really my only complaint. It's just, you allude to the fact that this happened, but you don't give your readers the satisfaction of finding out if there was a resolution, okay? There is no resolution to that fact of what happened to the Ross daughter about getting kidnapped at the end, like at Emma's first wedding. So, yeah. But, as I said, this was an incredible book. I loved it, despite the fact that we don't get to find out about that kidnapping. We find out about, we get a conclusion and a wrap up for The Curse of Clan McBride. We get the last book in the series. We get Emma finally being flippin' happy and all that such. Oh, it's so good, and I recommend this wholeheartedly. I recommend those 5 books, like the first 2 and these last 3 books. So get on to reading them. Yes. And now, as this is the library books, all this stuff, I gotta send it back to my personal library. But I will eventually be buying it, because That's what I do. So I'm on to my personal book. I did get it from my library, but it's mine now. This is Duel of Hearts. It's not part of a series, which is why I'm reading it, by Deanna Farr. Yes, and I know, like, I'm going from D to F, but there are other books. The next technically my book is actually Knight's Triumph by Shannon Drake, but it is book 4 in a six book series. So I gotta see about finding that one, which is why I'm reading this one, because if I get it through interlibrary loan, it'll take about 4 months for me to be able to pick it up, and I can usually read one of these if it's not much of a hassle or difficulty in about that time, maybe even less, if I really like it and like literally gobble it up. So there's that. And then I have a bunch of books, and I'll get the list out. My book list right here. So Knight's Triumph is right down here, and it's not checked. So, okay. Here's my next section. Underneath this here and before my big series, I got all these books. But all of them, except the one I'm pointing at, are part of a series. So, yes. And some of them are the last in the series, like this one. Highland Bride by Colleen Faulkner. And I've read this before. I really loved it, so. And apparently it's the last in the series, so I gotta read the other two first. And then here are all, like this, it's an entire series, so I can read that. So all of these have to wait, well, except for this one. Have to wait because they are not the first, well, except for this one, Venus. Venus is the first in a series, but I have to wait to get to there because going in order, it's a lot faster. And this is the start of Colleen Faulkner. Oh god, I'm bad. Kristin Feehan, oh my god. But this is book 4 in a secondary series. So like, it's a 2-part series. You've got like 6 books in the first part and another 6 books in the second part. This is part of the first part, sorry. And then like, cause this series was published before my Dark series, so I gotta read that first. But technically I'm gonna be reading these first because they go in order and I have all of these. So these up here will be read interspersely. If I can't get any of the books previous to these ones, except for Venus, then I will read them because, well, they don't have them in print or audiobook, which I can get the little book thing. Yeah, so yeah, let's get to this. And it's dark, so I can't see. I personally can't see. You guys can see me. At least I think you guys can see me, but I can't fully see. There we go, but now I'm in dark, shadowish like. Yeah, but anyway, I can read now. I'll turn it off once I'm done reading. I don't know. They planned to stop a marriage. They didn't plan on falling in love. That's the little blurb right there. Deanne Fair's romantic novels have been praised as delightful. That's Mary Jo Putney says. And superbly written, Julia Quinn said. Now, in her wittiest romp ever, she follows two well-meaning marriage records on a collision course to the altar. Lila Chadwick thinks she's the apple of her father's eye until he announces his plans to marry. Hoping to counter his decision, she rushes to London. Adam Harleston, yes, the 9th Earl of Drakesley, I guess how you pronounce it, Drakesley, Drakesley is a man possessed. His young cousin has been seduced by an older gentleman, and he's determined to save her honor before it's too late. But wedding bells are just about to ring for Lila's father and Drake's cousin. Joining forces, Lila and Drake vow. His name's Adam! Why are we referring him to Drake? Anyway, Lila and Drake vow to stop their loved ones from making a drastic mistake, only to discover that falling in love is never a mistake. Review. Oh, wait. No, that's just praise. That's not a derp. I haven't opened this book, okay, since acquiring it to my library. Oh, it is a first edition! Outlaw line right there. Look, there's one. There's the first edition! Norma Jean Geralyn, whom I can never thank enough. And we go right to chapter 1. There's no time date, but it's sometime in Victorian region. It's a historical romance. So it's about Victorian Regency age, considering the footwear, I'm guessing. There are 20 chapters here, straight 1 to 20. There's no prologues, no epilogues, and this will be it's going to be wrapped in a nice little bow. So yeah, this is my next book. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed, hopefully enjoyable book review. I certainly enjoyed this book. This book right here. And I eventually will purchase it. Yeah. And if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below. And you can leave comments down below how you enjoyed this series. If you have read the entire series, or if you've read the certain books in this series. If you haven't, you can leave comments below about whether or not you, like, what you may want to read about this book, or whatever. Or if you've read these series or this book, you can tell me what you liked about it below. I try to be as vague about certain stuff, but sometimes I'm just really bad and I just gush. But yes, I loved it. There wasn't a lot of like Scottish stuff, but I tried to imagine that Dare spoke in like a slight Scottish accent, because he is Scottish and his mother more than likely spoke in with a Scottish accent, even though they lived in Texas and that. So yes, anyway, yeah, this book. Just don't be negative, don't be nasty, because we do not need that in the world. And if you're just coming to be negative about and like bashing people who read smut books, people love smut books, so if you're going to bash, your comment's just going to be taken away, because, you know, don't need that in the world. And if this is the first time you're watching my video, please hit that big red subscribe button down there by my picture for more book reviews, hauls, unboxing, unbagging, because some things come in a bubble manila envelope or a plastic bag wrapped thingy, vlogmas, random vlogs, and random videos. I have no idea where to categorize. And you should look out for the 2017 Hamilton Comic Con, because I'm going Saturday. Yeah, I will be vlogging it, so that will be first, and then I will have the haul like 2 days later, because I won't be doing it that night. I may not be doing it, making the video Sunday. There is a possibility I may do it the Monday, but I probably may end up just doing it on the Tuesday, because, well, Tuesday will be a little easier day. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!